It is Monday, October 7th, 2024, 7:48 p.m. I call this meeting of the Needham Design Review Board to order. I'm the board chair, Mark Lusing. I would like to confirm that all members and applicants are present and can be heard. So when I call your name, please respond. Susan Opton,
Here.
Felix Zemmel.
Here.
Also attending is our town staff person, Elisa Lichman. Applicants on the agenda, please respond. So make sure we can hear you. 163 Highland Ave, Staples.
Here.
1257 Highland Ave, the Grossman Companies.
Here.
There's Paul. 322 Reservoir Street, AE Golf, Game Golf.
Here.
Chapel Street Walkway, Needham Council.
Here.
I've heard them talking. And 58 Woodbine Circle.
Here.
Okay. Welcome to this open meeting of the Needham Design Review Board, which is being conducted remotely, consistent with state orders. The orders allow public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Needham Design Review Board is convening by Zoom app as posted on the town's website and the DRB page, identifying how the public may join. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. We have a special permit application tonight. No, we do not. I apologize. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of this board are available on the town's website. Public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. This meeting is being broadcast to the town's YouTube channel and also via Zoom, and is being recorded for publication, later viewing, and administrative purposes. Be aware that other people may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer unless the chair approves. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. I'd like to review the remote meeting procedures for tonight's meeting. I will introduce each applicant on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will take comments or questions from DRB members. After discussion, each vote will be by roll call vote. The building department requires electronic submission of building permit applications. A copy of your application, stamped and noted for the type of approval that you receive, will be emailed to you by DRB support staff. That can then be attached to your building permit. We will now start with the meeting agenda. I'm going to ask your indulgence further, and we're going to take the Needham Council for Arts and Culture. First, we have a member who has recused himself while we review this item. He has a conflict there. So we're going to move them up to the first item, and then we will proceed with the rest of the agenda. So take it away.
Okay. We're talking tonight about the mural to be placed in 91 Chapel Street in the walkway there. I believe you all have pictures of it.
Yes, let me see if I
Okay.
can put it up here. Just a sec. No, oh, I lost myself. Okay. I'll screen share so we can take a look at it. Hold on.
Okay. And I'll just give you a brief introduction to it.
All
and
right,
then
I
we
don't
can
have
take questions.
sharing capabilities.
Oh, okay. Well, then I hope you'll all see it on Chapel Street soon enough.
Well,
The
we'll look
mural,
online. Yeah.
the mural entitled Tight Knit pays homage to the women of the 1800s who worked in the knitting mills made possible when a new kind of machine, a foot pedal powered knitting machine, was brought from England to Needham. Soon mills popped up all over the place, and these women who populated and worked at the mills contributed immensely to the growing economy and to the identity of Needham as a textile mill town. Other textile mills soon grew up, including world-famous Carter's. In addition, the mural also probably introduces lots of us to a man named Timothy Otis Fuller, who devoted his entire life, which was lived completely in Needham, to the study, documentation, and illustration of wildlife, botany, plants and herbs only throughout Needham. He never ventured beyond. His pictures of birds are called some of the most beautiful in ornithological documents. Mia has connected nature to technology in a beautiful mural that also extols the feeling of Needham as a tight-knit community. The mural will be put on 91 Chapel Street, the walkway between the parking lot and Chapel Street, and it's it's lovely and happy, and we hope you all like it.
Okay, thank you. Why don't we start with Susan?
Well, I think I love the idea, and I love that it brings Needham history into the middle of town. It combines Needhamite, I guess, with the history as well, and I love the way it's all intertwined together. So in short, I think it's a beautiful idea, and I'm all for it.
Thank you.
Felix?
So I also am all for it. I wish the alley was a little wider so we could see it a little better. But you can't move buildings, and it's I think it's a great continuation on the trend that we're doing around town with all the various murals. I think this just adds to the culture and to just the downtown area.
Okay, thanks. Well, I think I enjoyed reading her description of her inspiration. I thought that was wonderful. As a board member at the Needham History Center, I'm quite familiar with those books. I actually found them on a shelf when we were back at the old location in the center of town, and looked through them and was stunned that we had those, and it was a real treasure. I did have a couple questions. We did talk last time. One of our biggest concerns is going to be durability and longevity. That's an outdoor mural. So the materials on the paint used at the Daisy or the Pansy installation on West Street, I think they were all sprayed. Is that what that was? Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay. And so she's talking more of a roller and brush approach. So,
I
but
believe she said a combination, that there would be some spray, but
Yeah, right.
there'll be a combination.
okay.
And I mean, any outdoor artwork is not going to be completely permanent, but she plans on prepping the surface as well as possible.
Okay.
And she's using outdoor. She says in her description that she will use outdoor grade paint.
Yeah, it's exterior latex paint.
Yeah,
house
right.
paint.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm reading it. That was my other question is there, I mean, I guess it's not really a criticism. I would take so you'd mentioned that she's going to do prep the surface well. I think that's going to be real critical, that it get washed and any loose material removed and patched. And so that you got a good stable base for it, because it's a rather neglected area other than getting repainted occasionally. So I don't know how good that surface is, but I would just suggest to you that they do a good review of it, and not just the cleaning of the surface, but that this plaster that's on there is stable, and that you patch any of it that isn't holding up well. But other than that, it's wonderful. I think it looks great. We appreciate the information on the process and the selection. That was interesting, and her concept. So there's nothing else from the members. We'll take a motion to approve the Chapel Street Alley mural as submitted.
So moved.
I second.
Okay, we come to the vote. Susan,
I approve.
Felix,
Approve.
and the chair approves. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for waiting for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then next time on the agenda, Holly Petty for Staples.
Hello. All right, so we are proposing to remove the existing FCOs on 1/4 of it's 1/4, there's 4 panels up there. We're proposing to remove the letters on one and install a new L-shaped flanged aluminum panel with FCOs, just different wording.
So what we just saw was the existing, correct?
Yep, what's existing right there is a studio, and we're
Is a
proposing
picture.
to put co-working.
There it
Yep.
is. Okay. All right, I will start this. Oh, do you want to, Lisa, do we want to see if Steve can get in? We have another member that will be joining us, but I'm going to guess that if Elisa tells him to use Felix's link, then we'll be able to track him down. So why don't we start with our discussions? Felix?
So I appreciate that you included the math on this because I was able to zoom in. Because before that, I was wondering whether this needed a special permit or not, but we're under the threshold. I think this is kind of the same scale and concept as the current signage. It's just changing the wording. I think having the word co-working is, I mean, you can see by the picture, because they're trying to keep it in that one panel, it's going to be a little bit scaled down from studio and they're using a different font. But I think the concept is still the same and they're keeping it under the threshold. So I'm in favor of this.
Okay. Susan?
I don't have anything to add to that. I think it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think I appreciate that you didn't just strip the lettering off and try and cover up any markings by putting the new lettering on and actually just change the whole panel.
Yes.
That'll make it much more higher quality. So I have no other issues.
Can I just ask one question since you just clarified is there any chance that the new panel will look newer than the other panels? Like, would they have faded over, I don't know how long they've been there, but would they look like a different color?
We do have it, so we're painting to match the existing. When we did the survey, they didn't look like they were that old, and it does look like the color will still work.
Okay.
Yeah, that type of panel typically is pretty color fast. It's an enameled product. So I think it'll be all right. Anything else?
Not from me.
Okay. So I take a motion to approve the 163 Highland Avenue Staples signage change as submitted.
So moved.
I second the motion.
All right, I'm going to come to the vote. Susan,
Approve.
Felix,
Approve.
and I approve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item is what I call Grossman Plaza, the 1257 Highland Avenue, applying for facade review.
Yes.
Paul, do you want to screen share on your own so you can manage the imagery, or is it fine if Elisa does it for us?
I would love it if Elisa did it because I don't know how to do it.
Okay. Well, there we are then. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Paul.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I thought we were going to screen share. An affiliate of the Grossman Companies named South Street 4414 Holdings, don't ask me how that name was derived, owns the plaza at 1257 to 1299 Highland Ave. And as you've probably heard through the grapevine, there's a restaurant named Conrad's, which is going into the former Bertucci space. Conrad's has 3 or 4 other locations in the surrounding area, Walpole, Foxborough, and Norwood, I believe, is the third. They're in the midst of doing their fit out now, and as part of refreshing the plaza, we are seeking approval to paint the facades. Well, actually, right now, just at 1257, but sometime later, probably in the winter, we will be back to seek approval to paint 1299 as well. But we're trying to get approval now to do 1257 because of Bob Conrad seeking to get the restaurant open late this year. So what we're seeking is basically a few things. One is to paint the facades, and we provided renderings of the colors that we're proposing, that our architect is proposing. We are proposing to replace the existing sconces on the columns with new contemporary lights, new sconce lighting. And finally, we are planning on removing the awning that is over the windows at Cookie Monster and installing sconce lighting on that facade as well to light the sidewalk that is below it. So that is really the extent of what I'm presenting today. But as I said, in the winter, this winter, we'll be back to seek approval for new signage throughout the shopping center, and also to paint the facade over at 1299 Highland Ave, which is the building that Pure Hockey is in.
Okay. So you don't want to do the other one yet?
No, we're just not ready to do it.
Okay.
But you know, I mean, I wanted to give everybody the full context of what we're planning. It's not just, you know, obviously we own both buildings and we want both buildings to look attractive, which candidly we don't think they do, and update them without spending a fortune, but you know, bring them into our current century.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. One thing I should mention is that as part of the signage that we're planning to move from backlit signage to fixture lit signage. And so I did provide a cut of the spotlights that we would like to use. I would like to get the board's blessing to use those because I believe that Bob Conrad is planning to use those.
Okay.
So that would be great if we could do
We'll
that.
take a look at those as we go.
Yep.
All right. I'll start with Susan. Yeah, Lisa, could you leave that image there? Because I had some questions on that awning when we get there. Susan, do you have any questions or comments?
I just have a one question and one comment. My question is about the white that you specified on the building. I was reading, I think it's reflective white.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if how familiar you are with using that particular white in this light condition, because I don't really have experience with this color, but I was reading about this particular white doesn't really do well in sunlight. And it could be really, 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 really white.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Actually, I want to mention a little bit about the design team that we hired to do this plan. We hired HFA architects and a graphic planning. I guess I'm not going to call them a graphic designer per se, because they're more a planner than a true graphic designer, although they have done some kind of schematic things for us. We hired that team because they were responsible for the refresh of the Linden Square shops over in Wellesley. And candidly, we thought that it was one of the better refresh projects that we've seen in the area. And so the charge to them from us was that we candidly don't have a lot of money to spread around on this, because candidly the Bertucci's bankruptcy really hurt the shopping center. But we appreciated the design sense that they brought to it, and I think that they have thought that through here. And specifically to your point, if you look at the facade of Supercuts, and where Supercuts and Pure Hockey is, that dominant facade faces north, and
Right.
and you'll see that was one of the drivers of why that facade is primarily white. And if you look at the facade where Conrad's and Cookie Monster is, you'll see that darker, richer colors are used. That facade faces south. So to your point, we've tried to be mindful to use colors that, it's kind of like, you don't want to feel like you're walking on the beach where the sand is, reflecting a lot of sunlight in your face. That was one of the considerations of the design team.
So you're basically saying you trust that they know what they're doing.
Yes, I do trust them.
Okay.
In fact, more than I just trust them, I actually, I don't know if you're familiar with that center, but it's a quite attractive.
I do, and I love it. I
Yeah.
agree with you. It's really nice. It adds a lot to that space.
Yeah. So we're trying to bring a little bit of that here. Again, we don't have the budget that they had there. But we're trying to bring that flavor here, and I think they've done a good job.
So I guess you're adding another comment in my mind. In my mind, the Linden Square looks nice because of all of the different vertical elements that are going on there, including the landscaping. And I feel like, this is both of those buildings are sort of flat. There's no landscaping. It's all parking lot. So that is not here. And you're taking away the awning, which adds, I do like the kind of modern look that's added here. And I guess, I don't know what the address is, but the building that's across from Mills Field, which has a similar modern feel now.
Yeah,
Mark, do you know the name of that?
the building on Gould Street in the corner
Yeah,
of Gould.
it's really nice. And you have a similar thing happening here, I think. But I'll let the architects in the group speak more to the awnings, but I'm not sure. I think taking it away is the best approach when you have all this flat parking in between and two flat buildings on both sides. So those were just my two comments. Are we all comfortable with that color of white? because it's actually paired with another white, and it's my understanding that pairing a white with that white can be tricky, and that white, particularly in a south-facing facade, can really be overwhelming. But I will trust that you guys picked a great designer and they've got that all figured out.
Okay,
But I'm
well,
not sure you're getting to the Linden Square look without all the plants and the pergolas, and I get it though.
Yeah, honestly, I'd love it to look like Linden Square.
Yeah.
You know, it is candidly a delicate balance, and we've tried to be very strategic in how we spend money here. I will tell you this property is a tough one, you know, because we had COVID, where, you know, we gave all of our tenants a lot of rent relief. And then we had Bertucci's go out of business. So we're trying to do what we can with a pretty small purse.
okay.
Well, I'll
well,
make
let's-
one more comment with that said, is that I actually read that if this color white is going over something dark, like I assume that's dark brick it's going over, it's gonna take 3 coats of paint, which will actually be more expensive. So just consider that.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
It's actually over that existing.
Yeah, it's stucco actually.
Stucco
above.
up there
Oh, okay.
above that red awning.
Yeah.
All right, Felix, you have some questions, comments?
Well, I generally actually prefer it without the awnings, just because I think it's much more aesthetically pleasing this way. I like the fixture lighting, how they have it kind of sleek, straight, and the scale seems good. I think to Susan's point about landscaping, you have that little landscaping strip along Highland that maybe doing a little bit of plantings or something there in the future, thinking about it might be beneficial, and maybe figuring out some way to beautify the right of way, the railroad right of way. That's for the future, to make it get more of that Linden look once you've got the money coming in from the tenants. But I think for this, I think their refresh actually is gonna do wonders for that I'd call it pocket strip, I guess is the best way I would think of it.
Yeah. Okay, no, I think with, you know, limited means, you're trying to do a nice upgrade, and I think it cleans it up, and I think it looks good. On that upper parapet section, you know, they're just doing a two-tone approach. They have a sort of, they're creating like a sign band with paint.
I did
going through there.
I did have one other question.
Okay.
Within the submittal, you had a plan for kind of sliding glass door or window. I couldn't really understand. It was called the folding window and door system.
Yes.
Where is that planned?
So, Conrad's, as I mentioned, is in the midst of doing its fit up right now. And they asked us if, you know, they could replace the windows, and we said, sure. So they submitted plans to the building department. The building department approved them. It's their project. And so they replaced the windows without realizing that they were supposed to get design review board approval to do that.
Yeah, I think he was just looking for understand where they were being
Yeah.
installed, and I think Elisa has shown us.
Yeah.
They're using the
That's
same
fine.
existing window openings, correct? And just putting in these folding
Yeah.
windows.
Yeah, they're actually in now. If you look at the photographs, you can see.
Yeah, you don't want to tell us that, actually.
Sorry. I mean, you know, I'm just throwing myself at the mercy of the court here. You know, honestly, I think they look great, but you know, you may disagree.
So is the plan gonna be with those windows, like what we've seen at Blue on Highland and some other places?
Yes,
Is having it kind of seating outside in the summer? Is that gonna be the plan with Conrad's then, or is this gonna be more like the open feel like Cafe Nero kind of does with their facilities?
It's more like the latter. There's really not a lot of room along the sidewalk to maintain a decent clearance and have seating along there. I would love to do that because I think it would look great and I think it'd be fun, but there's just not a lot of room. It's possible that he might come and say, hey, can I do really narrow high top tables here along this? And we'll just have to look at it, but that is not the plan at all.
Thank you. That was all my questions. Steve, and
Okay.
Chairman, I don't know if you noticed that Steve is on now too.
yes, I did. Steve, you were able to hear the presentation?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Sorry, I came in late, so I
Okay.
don't mean to repeat something that's been discussed. I came in, but the little bit I heard from Susan, I kind of go along with her. I admit I really don't like white backgrounds like that. Is there a reason why you just don't continue the color along the whole length?
Do you mean the dark color?
The darker color, yeah.
It was just to create some visual interest. You know, punctuate it a little bit. I mean, I think one of the things that we're not wild about at that shopping center with all the brick is it is a very monotonous facade, and so we're trying to just bring some visual interest to it.
I guess I understand that does make sense. I'm just wondering if instead, without rehashing what Susan was discussing, it just looks so stark, the contrast with the other side, and white does tend to just kind of like jump out, and I feel for a number of reasons I won't go into, it just doesn't look right. Is there any way of like toning that white down at least, or muting it a little bit, so
Okay.
the same tone as what's on the left?
okay. Well, one thing, Steve, there's a sort of a building offset, that flat awning stops at the gray building, and then there isn't any awning. If you look
Right.
at any package at the very end there, so there's a photograph. So I don't mind the transition in color. It's also like a lot of those spaces where each storefront's a little bit different
Mm-hmm.
in there. So that, but I think I agree I think Susan researched that very well, and I appreciate the fact that she did that. I would ask that we tone down that background white on the one. I mean, high reflective, glossy white, I think is going to be a bigger contrast. I was starting to talk about the concept there. They've created a sign band with the two tones. You've got sort of the two-tone gray, the two-tone white. I think you could have a more subtle distinction between that high reflective white and the taupe white, more similar to what you are on the gray building, or the Urbane Bronze and the Porpoise.
It's pretty. I mean,
Do you have
These
some
are-
suggestions?
these are the two colors. These
Okay.
are the two colors white.
Again, in the illustration, it's sort of creamy there. It is just a bright white. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I think that might be the limitation of a color printer.
Yeah.
But, these are the actual color samples, from Sherwin-Williams.
Okay.
So,
Well, to the degree we can see them, but we'll at the end of our discussion, we'll stop screen sharing. You'll be a bigger image. Right now, you're the size of a dime.
yeah, sorry.
Paul,
Yeah.
I kind of went down this rabbit hole with white for a weird reason, but I do have 3 sort of other white suggestions if you want to talk to the designer, that are a little more warm and creamy and they're still white, but might not just be as bright a white. Like, you're holding up paint samples, but we're all looking at our monitors, and anybody that kind of understands paint, which I admit I'm a novice, but I do know enough to know that paint and colors and whites are really complicated. I can give you some names that I picked up, but or if you just ask the designer to warm up the white a little bit, just so that, I mean, that's
You know
one
what,
of the
actually,
brightest
why
whites
don't-
that exists. From a
If-
0 to 100, it's a 93.
Yeah, if you have suggestions, that would be great. The
Mark,
thing,
should I say them or should I send them to?
No,
the
just,
person?
just
Well-
give, let's just put them out there.
here's
So
the,
there's
here's,
Al,
so
okay, go ahead.
one thing that I do want to mention is that we're hoping to get some resolution ideally today, because we'd like to paint these before the cold weather sets in. And
Well, we're going to give you an option and ask you to get something in that family and get you done. We're not going to require you to come back with another submission.
okay,
Okay, so we'll get through it, but we do want to, normally we'd say just a slightly warmer white, but if she's actually done the look, we'll give you what she's looked at, and you can use that or something similar.
okay,
So what do you have?
So the
Susan?
white that you picked has kind of a little green yellow undertone, but very mild. So alabaster white is Sherwin-Williams, is a little bit more beige. Snowbound white is a little bit of a warmer yellow white. And Greek Villa is a little bit more of a yellow beige white.
Okay.
It's my understanding that with the other band of color white that you chose, which I forget what it's called, that's a
Taupe.
good
okay,
match.
Okay, well, thank you, Susan. All right, Lisa, can you back up to the 3D view there? So I think that I looked at that light fixture. I think it's perfectly appropriate for there. So if you want to, so I don't have any issues with that. I also think the sconces are fine. So I don't have any objection to the light fixtures if anybody else does. There's no other lighting on the underside of that awning, is there?
so what Cookie Monster did was they kind of strung cafe lights up inside the awning.
No, I mean on the permanent one over on the left, on Conrad's and the wine store.
Oh, there's actually pretty ample recessed lighting back there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is just accent lighting more.
Yeah.
To a degree, and then to a degree to replace the cafe stuff under the awning that Cookie Monster.
Correct. And to
Okay.
throw a little more light into the parking lot.
Okay, and my last question is not sure what are you reorganizing the parking lot and restriping?
No, it's all done.
Oh, okay, because
What's there is, so we repaved that about 2 years ago.
okay,
And I'm gonna say it's about 95% the same. The differences are that we added 2 handicap accessible parking spaces because we didn't have enough. And the other thing is we had a couple of parking spaces that were they were dangerous because people who would park in front of Pure Hockey, when they back out to make the turn to leave the shopping center, we had more than a couple of fender benders in there
okay.
from people backing up.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, you're saved by the age of the plaza actually, because you're well short of any current zoning requirements for parking lot plantings and planting beds and landscaping.
yeah,
But we're not going to, it's not something we can look at, but I think Felix mentioned it. Anything you can do to the property that's yours, that's on your side of the fence from those railroad right away and along the street, I think you'd really be helped by adding some landscaping that would hold up a little better than well, there really isn't anything that's alive over there.
Yeah,
But
it's,
that's just an observation from us that it could use a little more life, and I think it would help the venue look good too over
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Okay, any other comments? All right, so I would take a motion to approve the facade changes with the condition that oh no, I lost the page, sorry. That the high reflective white be replaced with a color similar to either Sherwin-Williams alabaster, snowbound, or Greek white.
Greek Villa.
Greek Villa. I was writing too fast.
Okay.
Get a second motion on that, please.
I'll second. I'm not sure if anyone actually made the motion.
You need to move that for me, Felix.
So I'll move it.
I'll second it.
All right, we come to the vote. Steve,
Yes,
Susan,
Approve.
Felix,
Yes.
and I approve. All right,
all
great.
right.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is, I'm not sure if it's a name or something.
A
322.
Cahill.
Okay, A Cahill, 322 Reservoir Street for signage.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I am a golf instructor and just opened a business 2 years ago. I'm looking to put a sign up on the roof, on the side of the building, on the higher side, so people can see it from the highway. It's an indoor golf facility, with 3 TrackMans and a perfection platform. And it has high technology, so you can see your videos, just like Golf Tech, pretty much, about your golf swing. And I help people play better golf and see them improve playing with other people as well. So it's like a friendly environment. People can come and hit balls and play golf indoors when it's cold outside. So my name's is spelled A-E, but pronounced A. So
Okay, thank you.
the slogan is bring your A game, so people can improve.
Very good. And it's just the one sign that you're replacing.
Yes.
I guess I'm trying to figure out where you are exactly. Is that the L-shaped building with the dance studio and you're at one end?
Yes.
Okay. Right, I believe this facade is visible from 128, so we don't have any issue, and his size is under the 32 square feet, so he's in good shape there. I'm looking at your drawings. So this is an internally illuminated sign, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
No illumination, sorry. My pronunciation is not that great. I'm looking for the black one. It says black background.
the second one,
The second one, I think.
leave that, Lisa, that's fine.
Yeah. The bottom is the black. Right?
Okay,
Top.
so so there's no internal illumination then?
No.
Okay. So I will go ahead with the team. Steve?
do we have a picture of what's to the other side of it, of the building, so I can see it in relation? Or not?
It's hard to see it in context.
Yeah, there is a picture of the whole building.
Yes.
You have to zoom out to
Yeah.
see it.
It's that one. Yep, right there. That's the picture.
And where's your sign going here?
On the right side of the
To
building.
the side, okay.
I'd be just interested in seeing it in proportion, height and size with the other one, how. But, I mean, it looks okay to me. Again,
Where is it? So there's the dance studio. Where's the golf?
Right,
So it's around the corner.
Oh, I see.
oh,
right.
it's around the corner, okay. So there's
I see.
nothing next to it? There's no other,
No, there's no sign, other signage on
Okay.
that side.
I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay, Susan?
I just have kind of a weird question.
Okay,
You have a purple sign and a black sign, and why are we looking at the purple sign?
we're just comparing which one would look better, and
Oh,
that's all. And I want to make sure it stands out on the highway, so people can see it, driving like at daytime.
do you have a preference?
The black one sounds like more appealing after.
Okay.
can I
I
make a
just-
suggestion?
Let,
Oh,
If I,
sorry.
my name is Corey Ravelson. I'm the landlord. And so A gave us a few different proposals for the aesthetic of the building. We definitely prefer the black background to match A Fine, which is a black background on that side as well. And so it was my impression that we were going forward with the black background with the white lettering with the purple outline around the letters.
okay. Well, that is one of our requirements that the landlord approves, so we will look at that one as our primary. Okay, Susan, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I don't know if my question applies. It sounds like it's they're trying to be uniform with the other signs on the building, but just as for fun, I guess. I was wondering why the background wasn't some form of green since it's golf. Purple and black don't relate to golf to me at all, except for a white golf ball, maybe.
I understand. It's my brand.
I
Okay.
see.
Things
Got it.
My car, that's purple. So people say, "Oh,
I'm
it's
sorry, what did you say?
That's his car.
my car."
Oh, I see. I get it.
So it's my brand. I love the color purple, so I wear it every day.
Okay.
My shirt.
Felix?
Sorry, I needed to unmute. Yeah, I was gonna say, just for full disclosure, at one point in life, when I was trying to learn golf, I took classes with at his former employer. At, what was it, Golf Tech, the one that's right
Yep.
by the Hess, what was the Hess? I forget what the brand is now.
Yeah.
Right there. And he always sported the purple, so I wasn't surprised seeing the purple as the option. But I think the black with the purple outline, especially where it's not illuminated, is the best choice. I think he's gonna get some more volume by people passing by on the highway and seeing this. So I think I maybe would ask for a condition just because it's at that corner with with the dance studio, that maybe it be at the same top elevation as the dance studio sign. So you just do a takeoff from that. But that would be my only condition or thought.
I guess the dance studio one looks a little bit larger. I would, actually, my preference would be that the center lines align so that they're on a similar, the spacing above and below is equal on the dance studio, and that would mean that would keep the spacing above and below the way they show it as equal to.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So we'll just center it in the brick area, brick upper wall. All right, well, I don't have anything other than to add to it. Although I think the board had a good set of comments for you. So I would take a motion to approve the sign with the conditions that, since the application has two, that we approve the option with the black background and that the sign be centered on the center line as the dance studio sign.
So moved.
I second the motion.
And we come to the vote. Steve,
Yes,
Susan,
Yes,
Felix,
Yes.
and I'm yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Can I just
Okay.
ask a quick clarifying question?
Yes.
When you say centered, you're talking between the window and the top of the building, correct? That space?
No, in the brick area. So if you look at the dance studio sign and find the center line of that sign, you know, if they go, you need to carry that center line around the corner, and that's the center line of your sign.
Understood. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. I guess that's a more technical term for that Felix and I use all the time, but not everybody always knows it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is Winder Realty, 58 Woodbine Circle. They're looking for a construction sign.
Yes, perfect. Thank you all so much. Will you guys be able to pull up our proposal on there?
We're rolling that way, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think you need to zoom out.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna hopefully keep everything pretty simple here. We're just looking to highlight everybody within the actual development space, the architect, the builder, and the investment firm that is assisting with marketing this new build. We're about maybe 2 months away from finishing the house, and then we'll be selling it. So we're just looking to provide a little bit, you know, let's call it a stronger sign than a standard real estate sign in front of the house to market everybody for the property for sale.
Okay, and he has reduced the sign size to 12 square feet, which is what's allowed in for this type of sign for real estate construction signs.
Yep.
So I would open up for comments. Steve?
I don't have any objections or any questions.
Okay, Felix?
Same, I wish kind of more places would do something like this instead of the kind of flimsier, lower profile ones.
Completely agree. If you ever have a meeting about something to be provided, count me absolutely in.
Susan?
I think it's a great looking sign. I agree with everything everybody said. All real estate signs should look like this one.
Yeah. All right, so my comments is there's a lot of verbiage there, a lot of different type sizes, but it's a temporary sign. It's got a mission that it's trying to do, which is give this information out in the short term. So I don't have any objections. I would ask that if it is up for more than 60 days, 90 days, that you just inform us that it's going to continue because it's sort of a temporary sign.
I would say right off the bat that probably will. Just because
Okay.
if we're looking, let's say maybe 60 days to completion and then call it hopefully a 45-day sales cycle right off the bat, we're at 105 days. So
Yeah. Okay, why don't we say 3 months after the house is completed? So if
yeah,
you're
absolutely.
marketing that much longer, then, and we can check with the building department if we have any questions, but I wouldn't expect any objections from the neighborhood for that
Okay.
time frame. All right, so I would take a motion to approve the
So moved.
sign with the condition that if it is installed for longer than 3 months after the house is completed, that they contact us and let us know that they want more time.
So moved.
Second. The motion.
Come to the vote. Steve,
Yes, approved.
Susan,
Approved.
and Felix,
Yes.
and I am yes. All right, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you all.
Okay, the next two items are the minutes from August 19th. And I believe Felix was not at that meeting.
There's August 19th and September 9th.
Yeah, well, we're
So-
gonna do the August 19th first. So I would take a motion to approve the minutes of August 19th. Steve and Susan,
So moved.
Second the motion.
and we vote Steve,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
and I'm yes.
And I'm abstaining for the record.
Okay, and the next are the minutes of September 9th, 2024. Are there any questions or comments?
No.
So
No,
I take a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
I second.
And we come to the vote. Steve,
yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Felix,
Yes.
and I'm yes. So that's good. Okay.
So
Um,
motion.
I just want to say one thing. I did attend that committee meeting that had the town manager, the town moderator, and several of the town attorney and the assistant town manager. And they were asked to do this by the select board. There were no select board members there. And there were about 15 people. Most of them had been around for a long time and knew all the questions. So there is another one happening on October 30th. I don't think that's Halloween, right? Yeah. If you have any chance at all, I would really urge you to go. It's very informative. We had a long discussion about conflict of interest or, conflicts and what to do if they're there, whether you can just not participate but watch, or whether you have to, and that's why I told Steve tonight to not come at all until that item was over. So I thought it was very informative. And with the town moderator there, he talked all about how town meeting works if you're not, but to the degree you're familiar with it, but it was very I thought it was informative, and they made the effort to be there. So I hope we can all make the effort to be there.
I meant to be there. I totally slipped my mind.
Yeah, it's the kind of meetings that slip your mind.
Yeah, I can't make the 30th. It's my other half's birthday. But I've gone to so many of these and I've hosted so many. I've hosted so many of these just in my other life.
Yeah, okay. All
Did
right,
they
so
record it, Mark?
pardon me?
Did they record it?
They did not.
by any chance?
Because it's
Oh,
not
wow. That's too
wasn't
bad.
sort of a public hearing, and so they did not go through that effort. All right,
Their handouts?
they had a slideshow. It may
I
be.
sat through that. Is it similar to, I took that course they ask you to take when you join one of these?
That was a small part of it, yeah.
Uh,
And the town clerk was there saying, everybody make sure you do that. There was some guy in Rainham or somewhere that simply refused to do it. And they fined him $2,000 after about 10 years of
oh, wow.
not doing it. I don't do it. I've done it 3 or 4 times, but I don't necessarily do it every time she sends the memo out.
Yeah, we're supposed to do it every year and send a copy of the send a copy of the certificate to her.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think she
really?
said it's every other year is so
Oh, yeah.
when you get it, we should probably jump in and do it. It makes her life easier. Okay. Well, thanks, everybody, and thanks for the
Yeah.
patience. I don't
Thank
know
you.
why I couldn't
I have-
figure that out, but
I have
Thanks,
a
Felix, for
question.
getting everybody onto the screen.
Thank you.
Of course.
yeah.
Well, you were on before me, Susan.
I didn't have any troubles. I don't know what link I used, but I didn't have any troubles.
You might have a verified account, and that's why
Yeah.
it didn't have
Probably
any
does.
problems.
I had trouble until you sent me that second link.
Okay.
So,
Before we
so
go, one quick question, did the mural go okay?
Yes,
Yes, there you go.
we were like 2 minutes. Yes.
yeah,
And the other
I-
question, two questions. The other one, anyone curious how much that house is gonna, the asking price for that new house?
the
Oh, I looked it
7,000
up.
square foot, 7-bedroom house with an in-house gym.
I looked it up, but I forgot. I think it's 4 million.
Oh, is that, no, that all? No.
It was surprisingly less than I thought. I thought it would be like 10, but it's
I
a
don't
lot.
think the lots in Woodbine Circle are that big, so that may be why.
Yeah, it's not even a half an acre.
Yeah. Okay,
So I have a question.
all right.
So
The
we
signage has,
adjourn?
yes, motion to adjourn.
I would take a motion to adjourn,
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
and we come to the vote. Steve?
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Felix?
Yes.
And I am yes. Right.
Let me,
What's your
Oh.
question, Felix?
let me just,
So